guys, if you want a competition-worthy physique, I'm going to give you 3 tips. 3 very, very big, game-changing secrets to achieving this. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it's very, very doable. I've managed to do it. And I say this, competition-worthy. I have the size for a natural competition. I would need to drop about 3%, 4% body fat to get on stage and do that without losing muscle. Easier said than done, but I'm virtually there in terms of competition worthy physique. So that's the definition. In terms of what to do, in terms of the secrets, there's a lot of stuff on the internet. The problem with the current information overload era we're in is that there's too much information out there, and there's a lot of stuff that's very misleading. People say online that volume is the most important thing, but in reality it's not. The missing people who have half a brain are doing enough volume in the gym. They know how to do a bench press for 5x5 or whatever, or 4 sets of 10 or something. Most people are doing enough volume. The make or break factor, this is secret number 1, as to whether or not you're going to gain any muscle at all, let alone dozens of pounds of muscle, is intensity. Most guys, for one reason or another, they're distracted by their girlfriend, they're distracted by they've got kids, they don't have time, or their work, they're stressed out and they're tired by the time they get to the gym. Whatever the reason is, isn't the point, but the point is the intensity just isn't there. They know how to go to the gym and do 4 sets of 10. They don't know how to, or they, for some reason, they don't know how to, or they just don't know what it feels like to just train so hard that the fibers are shaking and you can feel them breaking down, and just training to absolute exhaustion. And you start off with heavier weights, but then you go lighter and lighter with different movements, and you get more and more clever, you get smart about how you add to the workload, to the breaking down of the fibers. And then obviously you need to recover as well, but that's a slightly different topic. From a training standpoint, intensity is the make or break factor, not volume. It's really, really not. In the real world, it's intensity. We can all try and be like little science geeks. In the real world, intensity is what's missing for most people. The second secret is that protein is king, but you don't just want to focus on total protein. Yeah, that's the first thing you've got to do. Like if you're eating 110 G's of protein, that's just not enough. Unless you're 5'2" or something, or you're a woman watching this for some reason, it's not enough protein. You got to have more than that. 150 grams plus is a general, just quick, easy number I throw out there. You don't want to be eating less than 150. But if we want to get really specific, you're looking at at least 1.1 or 1.2 grams per pound of lean body mass. So if you're quite tall, if you're already quite muscular, it's going to be a hell of a lot more than 150. So that's the total, but you don't just want to focus on total. You're looking at, so it's not just quantity, it's also quality, and it's also the frequency, so the protein timing, the spacing throughout the day. In terms of protein frequency, if you're 40 years old or 40 or older, the older you get, the more important this is. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting, or doing a longer fast to keep your inflammation low, your triglycerides, your blood sugar, things like that. Partly for testosterone, partly just for general longevity and health, cancer prevention, that sort of thing. That should be like once a month or once every other month. In terms of the day-to-day stuff though, you're better off not doing like 1 meal a day or something. You want a lot more meals than that, and you want protein in every single meal. You could have 150 G's in one meal, or you could have it split out across 5 meals, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. That second scenario where it's split out, that guy is going to gain way more muscle than the guy who has 150 Gs in one meal. So they're two, one meal versus 5 is a pretty extreme difference, but it's true of like 2 versus 4. 4 is going to beat 2. It's to do with protein synthesis, and this gets even more powerful if you've got high testosterone. If you've got 1,000 testosterone and you use the protein really efficiently, and you sleep well, and you're training savage, like these factors compound, and so you can easily see how one person can train hard and eat 150 grams of protein. Another guy can do the same training and eat the same protein, but gain way more muscle because he's sleeping better. He's got 5 servings throughout the day. The protein quality is very high, and that's the next point. I mean, I don't want to make this overly complicated, but this stuff all matters if you want a really good physique. Protein quality, meat and whey protein and eggs, and to some maybe raw milk, maybe certainly eggs though, are gonna nuke plant-based protein sources. I don't care about the arguments about vegan versus carnivore. I'm not interested. I am here. I don't want to offend anyone if there's any vegetarians watching this. I'm just here to relay the facts, what works, what doesn't, what will give you a really good physique versus what won't. There's a lot of vegan guys on steroids and on Instagram, for example, and it's like, bro, you did not build your physique eating lentils. Sorry. 150 grams of protein from chicken, steak, eggs is going to be very, very different to 150 Gs from lentils. Again, I'm using extreme examples here, but it gets the point across. The amount of lentils you would have to eat, or tofu or whatever, to get 150 grams of protein, the amount of clogging that's going to go up in your stomach, in your intestines, the 5-alpha reductase inhibition, so your DHT goes down, the SHBG increases, and just your gut health and the brain fog. Oh my God. So even if you could get 150 grams plus from these sources, the quality is lower, so that your muscle gain's just not going to be as good. It's just not. The amino acid content isn't as complete. But you've got all those other problems I just listed out. Gut health, DHT, free testosterone going down. So the long-term side of things is horrible for pure plant protein versus mostly animal protein. You've got the long-term effects as well. So this is another thing that compounds, and you can see how one guy could have his training that's very, very good and technically has a lot of protein. Same thing with another guy, but this guy gets a way better physique, more muscle and less body fat. So that's a big number 2 secret. The number 3 secret that isn't a secret if you've been following me for a while, testosterone makes everything easier. So I've hinted at protein synthesis, and this gets even more serious if you've got 4 or 5 protein meals throughout the day. It won't do as much for you if you've only got one meal. And so testosterone makes the protein synthesis side of things easier. It makes sleep quantity and sleep quality easier, and it makes extreme training intensity easier because you have more energy, more focus, less brain fog, more aggression in a positive way. It's up to you how you use the aggression. Going around beating people up is just a myth. That's just, I don't know what that is. Most people watching this aren't going to do that. You're going to use the aggression in a positive way and focus it on the right things. So here you've got testosterone levels of 1,000 versus 200. The guy that's at 1,000 is going to have better training intensity, so the stimulus for the physique, and the recovery, so sleep, protein synthesis, and just general recovery. Less improved cortisol response, improved adrenaline response, all that stuff. Cortisol comes down faster. So you've got the stimulus and the recovery. Both sides of the equation are enhanced when you have 1,000 tests versus 200, or 800 versus 300. Like, it's a big difference. Testosterone makes everything easier. So I would say they're the big three secrets for how some guys just don't seem to get anywhere with their training, and some guys just achieve more and more and more things. There's limits to what you can achieve naturally. A Mike Thurston physique is not achievable naturally. My physique is achievable naturally. There are other guys on Instagram who I've seen who are definitely natural. I'll have to link to them another time. But if you want the testosterone focused side of things, here's 10 lessons that will benefit you that I wish I knew 10 years ago, because it will speed up the journey. You guys can do what I've done in like 2 years. It depends how old you are, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 1 year. It took me a long time because I made a bunch of mistakes and I was an idiot. So basically learn from me, and you don't have to, it won't take anywhere near as long. Check out that video, I think you'll enjoy it.